Welcome back to Inside the 12. He is King McClure. I'm Pete Souza, and now we're talking about Big 12 Player of the Year. Right now, it's really a too close to call race. Let's check out some of the top performers this season, folks who are in contention right now. You got to start at Texas Tech. JT Toppin has been lights out all year long, averaging 17 points a game, shooting 56% from the floor, and averaging just about 10 rebounds, King. How much do you love JT Toppin's game, and do you think he could be Player of the Year?
Yeah, I think he has as good of a chance as anybody in the country, especially when you look at his performances down the stretch. There was a moment where this young man was averaging about 30-plus in 2-3 games. This man is Mr. Consistent. He has been phenomenal. When Texas Tech needs a bucket, they know who to go to. And it's crazy because you know what he does. You know he wants to get to the right shoulder. You know he wants to finish with his left hand. And he finds ways to continuously get to it. But I think where he's added the most to his game is his counter. So now teams try to take it away. Now he gets to his right hand. And his touch with the right hand or the left hand has been extremely impressive. And the crazy thing is, Pete, this young man is only a sophomore. How much better can he get? So I definitely think he's in contention. He has a great chance. But moving forward next year, people better be on the lookout.
We have all been on the lookout for Javon Small. He's been playing big all year long for West Virginia, averaging 18.5 points. That's second in the Big 12, shooting 42% from the floor, about 4 rebounds a game, and almost 6 assists. That's fourth in the Big 12. Don't forget about the 2 steals. What do you like about him, King?
I like everything about this young man. I have been on the fortunate end to do his game against Iowa State at West Virginia at home when they pulled out the upset, and his game at Baylor. And those were 2 of his better performances, where I was literally in awe on the broadcast being like, wow, no, he didn't just do that. No way he made that shot. I mean, this young man right here, the poise that he plays with at all times. We talked about earlier how this West Virginia team, offensively, they rely on him so much. But the crazy part is, everybody knows that he is the guy. He's the go-to guy, but they can't stop him. Yeah. It's so hard to be able to limit him, and Coach DeVries does a tremendous job putting him in actions and putting him in sets to be able to succeed. But his ability not only to score the ball, but when he's not scoring it, he can set his teammates up. He can find his teammates, and he can put them in positions to also to succeed with his passing. I mean, I think that those 2 elements right there put him in contention. However, they haven't won enough games. So I don't know if he has a chance to win it, but his numbers, his production, you can put him up there.
You bring up a great point, talking to coaches around the conference. It's one thing to be at the top of the scouting report in the NCAA in Division I basketball. It's another thing to be at the top of the scouting report in the Big 12. Yes. They will do everything in their power to eliminate you, and most of the time they will. Norchad Omier for Baylor. The Bears right now 16-12. He's a double-double every night, and he's averaging about 16 points a game, 56% from the floor, 10.5 rebounds, a block a game, almost a steal and a half, and he's got more rebounds and double-doubles than any active player in the NCAA. I think he's underrated too, man. I think he's underappreciated.
We can't forget, let's not get this twisted, Norchad Omier led that Miami team to a Final Four. This is one of the best, most productive players, consistent players that we have seen in our game in the past 2-3 years. Matter of fact, since he's been in college, he's averaged a double-double. He is a grown man in every sense of the word. He got engaged, and now on the court, he dominates you. It's every single night, you know what you're going to get. You cannot simply just block out, right? You can't have a regular block out for a guy like him at Baylor. We had this thing called a KO, right? Yeah. It means you got to knock the guy out. Not literally, but in the sense of like, you have to make sure that he can't touch the basketball. He touches the basketball every single time. As hard as he plays, you have to respect it, and he's starting to score the ball better. You know, he's been put up for a tough task, moving to that 5 spot only at 6'6", but I think he's doing a really good job, and one thing you never have to worry about is his rebounding, because that never sways. But that young man has been consistent since day one, and he's been impressive.
I had a chance to talk to him this year. I said, what were you more nervous for, the Final Four, playing in Houston in front of 60,000 people, or getting engaged? He said, getting engaged. I was terrified. Oh, these dudes are just like us. How about this? Those guys could be considered front runners, but how about this? Eye test. Give me 2 sleepers, King McClure. Who you got?
Oh, LJ Cryer from Houston, who I really think has a legitimate chance to win this, because not only look at their record, but he's averaging 15 points per game, leading them. The performance he put up against Iowa State, super, super impressive. And then my man, Richie Rich Saunders. To
have
BYU, Richie Rich, to have BYU in the top 5 and the way he's playing, I mean, this young man, oh my goodness, Pete. I'm a huge fan of Richie Rich Saunders.
Is he a prolific scorer or is he a glue guy?
Well, you know what's interesting? He went from glue guy to prolific scorer. He went from bench player, guy who just hustles and plays hard, to now he's #1 on people's scouting reports.
Yeah.
Like, the ability to be able to do that and be successful at it, that's extremely hard and underrated. Richie Rich is that dude.
All right. Huge weekend ahead for women's hoops as number 10 TCU takes on number 17 Baylor. The Bears are white hot. That game is going to determine who's going to take home the regular season conference title. We've got Ann O'Neill warming up, set to join us. We're going to talk more about that matchup and more when we return.